gets me excited about this particular series is it might just be a bloody time between these two. Still, the
Mhm.
draft continues. They go for the Vengeful Spirit, which again has been very popular today.
Oh
Very
yeah,
popular indeed.
it has, and in this case, of course, you're picking the Venge into the Void. You've got the swap for the Chrono targets. So now 496 has to catch the Venge when they do go for the Chrono plays, just to ensure that they have the hero they want locked in top of that Venge as well. Makes it a bit more complicated to execute that team fight, and I love the counter pick. It's the hero you want up against the Void in a lot of situations. Motivate.Trust. It wasn't banned by 496. So they kind of trapped themselves there. I do love that 496 did ban the Oracle. That would have been another one to slide in. Doesn't really have space there, though, for Motivate.Trust to have picked it up, but now they have to contend with Avenge.
Suppose that's fine. I just wonder whether they're gonna go ahead and pick up a Drow now for Motivate.Trust. Like, would I recommend it?
Hmm.
Not necessarily. Especially considering now there is a Bloodseeker and a Void on the other side of the map, but they may still do it. I mean, you've got the Venge there. Do you want to
Hmm.
Drow?
It's so weird though with a Magnus, right? Like you want something that can play off the cleave. Doesn't yeah, they go with it anyway. So you're playing with Avenge Drow.
Yep.
It's won once, but I don't like it with Magnus. I feel like you're missing the potency of the Magnus here. You could have gone for Sven if you were worried about the Faceless Void, right? We've seen the Sven up against the Void. Can be a tricky, it's a matter of response time, but it's still a decent enough matchup or a workable match. But Motivate.Trust, they've got to be cautious with a Drow. You mentioned it, but you can jump in, you can trap the Drow. You've got the Bloodseeker to kind of make it tricky as well. There are tools here from 496 to deal with that Venge Drow combination. And again, it's only been successful once. So you really got to put the work in to make it run.
Yeah, absolutely. Motivate.Trust final pickup now. How do they want to finish things off? Well, it seems like they do need some kind of off-lane pick, unless they're going to run the core Venge, in which case we may as well just see a position 5 here for Motivate.Trust. That may actually be the case, because every time we have seen Drow Venge, it has been a core Venge in the either in the off lane or the mid lane.
Hmm.
Not mid
Yes.
lane this time, obviously, because you do have the mag there already, but
Yeah. Uh, they're gonna have to look for something that bullies that void for the offlane here. So,
Has no chill, man. Oh, this guy has no chill,
Doom
man.
is in the pool if you wanted that. So Magnus Drow Doom, you could probably empower to Doom if you wanted some cleave there as well. Looks okay. Um, they do have ways to deal with the Phoenix anyway with the range here, so they go with the
ooh,
Tide instead.
okay,
So team fight. Team fight galore is the name of the game here, Mike.
love it.
Now, your Faceless Void has to catch not only the Venge, but he has to catch that Tide as well. Ravage is going to ruin the early Chronos without a BKB. Again, complicating things for 496's team fights.
That it will. But 496, how are they going to finish things off? They are requiring some kind of mid laner here. Gotta say, there's so much value here for this Rubik. We never really pointed that out, but RP, Swap,
Mm.
Ravage, so many things to steal for this Rubik.
Ooh, and it's super potent too, right? If you get even the Empower from the Magnus for your own Faceless Void, it just suddenly piles up. So, Motivate.Trust, it's going to be a bit of a tricky game, but they've got some natural combos. Of course, you've got the Tiny Toss into RP, the Tiny Toss into Ravage. So you've got some natural ways of starting these fights without having to wait for the blink. Very important, as we've seen stalled out blink timings really start to throw off the timing of the entire lineup. And Motivate.Trust doesn't need to worry about that too much. 496, and they see these team fights. They've already got the Rubik. They're probably looking for something else to combine on top. They've got two melee cores. They need a highly mobile one. I'd say down mid would be nice. So one of the Spirit Brothers that are remaining, Ember and Earth Spirits, okay-ish. If you wanted to, they go with the OD. Lovely. Look at
Okay.
that.
The
That is,
OD Void combination, which
mm,
see, is going to be quite nice considering you are going to be able to hit people for so long as this OD. Like, you've got this tanky Tide and this tanky Magnus that you could just keep whacking away at. Seems pretty good. Obviously, the OD doesn't really care for the mid-mag either, because you just Astral Imprison and just grief his last hits.
And you've also got that synergy with a Bloodseeker. So Astral Imprisonment to get one person into Blood, right?
Right.
That's one. You get the Blood Rage on top to amplify your spell damage by 30% max. I cannot overstate how dumb that is. That is just so dumb with the right heroes. And, well, OD, it's a right hero for that, Mike.
I'd say so. See how this all pans out. By the way, may I say, I've always hated this Tidehunter cosmetic. The whole bulging belly thing, it just looks weird. It makes me feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's a strange one. Like, you can kind of see Tide's face under the mask as well, right? It's not like his face has actually changed, right? You can see his jaw.
You can, yeah, right
it's
there.
Weird.
Yeah.
It's a strange one. And the dad stomach. It's a video game. You know, it's like it's not necessarily bad, but Tide's a fit dude. He lifts stuff with his tentacles. He's not a fat hero. It's kind of degrading for him. Poor dude. Makes him look like a bum.
No need to use the F word, John. How dare you? We're in 2020. You can't say that anymore.
I'm sorry. I can't help it. I'm uncultured. You know, I've come from a rough background, Mike. We just say stuff here that would probably get a lot of people displeased. So, you know, that's just how it is here.
Oh, well, same thing in Australia, John. We just don't say it online. Anyway, moving on. Motivate.Trust will see if they can make this draft work. Of course, 496 looking pretty darn good with their own draft, and I think we can just guarantee that this will be a very explosive game. I think that we can say for sure, because we know these two teams. They don't sit back.
No. They run at you. We see them do, quad lanes, right? For a while. They just clump 4 heroes in the first 5 minutes. No one cares about the other lanes. Leave the off lane alone. You don't need it. Just look for kills, and it makes for exciting Dota too, you know? They are the pinnacle of Southeast Asian Dota. And just do whatever.
That's the way to do it. See how this OD does work for Hung. We have seen a bit of OD over the past couple of days, and it was effective the last time. So, see if Hung can make it work.
So, can be an interesting matchup. OD up against Magnus. This was a bit more typical before, right? It's been a while since you've seen a lot of them down mid. I'd say this is an OD favored one. You can spam your shockwave all you want, but once you've got the levels in Astral, once you get enough range to stand back, I'd say level 3 is a good point for the Astral. So level 5 on the OD, you can really just kind of play safe. They don't need to necessarily trade hits. That's not going to necessarily stop Fearless from finding farm. He can play with Empower, Shockwave as well. He has the jungle to fall back to. It's just going to be a pretty stable lane for both sides. Just have to be cautious about when you go in for those last hits.
True. Hung's going to be able to just Astral every single time Fearless is going to try and get in for those CS. And as the levels get up, of course, it is going to get much harder here for Fearless. But like you said, you always have the jungle to go back to, which is going to be a nice feeling. Still top lane. Red and Bombi going to be up against Masaros and Q. You saw Bombi getting tossed in before as the Phoenix and did quite a bit of damage to John. I must say, Bombi is very well known in the SCA region for his Phoenix. He's a very, very dangerous Phoenix player.
Oh yeah, and you know, once the levels start racking up, he can start to trade a bit better. Of course, just need to get to that point as the Phoenix. That's usually the level 3 mark. That's the one to watch out for. One thing I want to point out here, Mike, just look at Masaros. Look at how he looks from above. It looks pretty... It fits his name, right? It looks menacing. Masara. And it's a big kraken. Just really fitting.
I stick by what I said yesterday. He has the coolest name in SCA right now, for sure.
Oh, yeah. It's hard to match that one. Still, looking at the one lane left, the bot lane, you've got that DD of course, he's laning up against Boombill, and they've already caught Yassi out.
Oh, Yassi's gone. On the Rubik, nice way to start off here, as Boombill will be the one to take the first blood on the Vengeful Spirit. Dat BB, he wasn't even focused on his Rubik, he was just trying to secure some CS on the Bloodseeker. So that'll be your first blood this game, number 1.
Simple pick-off. You can't underestimate the right-click damage from a Venge lane. You know, Wave of Terror out, Magic Missile, it's a decent stun, and Drow, it's a lot of right-click, so just gotta watch your steps there if you're Yassi. You want that BB to have a smooth ramp up, and they're not doing too much to slow Jackie down. He's having a decent old time here, treating to tree on the last hit board.
Yeah. How's that mid lane going? Fearless, he is a bit low in HP. Can't stay too low like that, as you are going to give the Bloodseeker some added movement speed, which he's going to enjoy quite a bit. Jackie, going to get lifted. Bloodright is going to connect, and with the Fade Bolt, it is just so much damage output. In fact, that BB is looping behind the Tier 1 tower. Trying to get that self-cancellation, but now Bloodright going to be up at Yassi, copping a bit of damage. BB going to turn back around onto Boombill. Boombill maybe overstaking his welcome, but no. He's going to survive, but now the TP back from that BB. Wow.
It's a really aggressive play. He does pick up his boots, and he does have Trust. He's going to be able to run back in. Yassi does get the kill. So I guess it's a free reset, and he moves fast enough. I don't think that BB minds that at all.
Almost felt like that Venge died on purpose to not allow the Thirst to give him that added movement speed to run back to the lane, but can't be 100% sure on that. Still a nice kill out for Yassi. Speaking of Yassi, he's going to go through the mid to try and secure that Arcane Rune, and does get a nice deny off. Of course, Fearless on this mag really does want that full bottle up right now. You can tell because they did have both supports making sure to secure those power runes, and even then he does not get it.
And not a good sign for Motivate.Trust. Not the end of the world, but you're at the point now where Hung, level 5, there's that level 3 Astral in play, safer distance for him to cast it, and with the mana sustain he gets from the Essence Flux, it's going to be a harder lane to sustain. Fearless, he's going to have his 6 in a decent time, but just watching Hung control the lane, it's going to be a tough one.
Wow!
Look, Red's farm has been struggling just a bit on this Faceless Void. Can be a little bit difficult up against the Tide Hunter. Bot lane, that BB just going to TP out in front of him. He's going to make it. So that rotation out from Motivate.Trust not going to pan out. I suppose at worst, Jackie is still getting some free farm on this Drow. They do not get the Bloodseeker kill.
Yeah, it's a bit of wasted time. You're still happy enough for Motivate.Trust to force that move back. That BB's progression has stalled out. It's 18 to 3 last hits here on that Bloodseeker. It's a runaway start for Jackie. 30 to 6 last hits, pretty much a free lane. Everything you could ask for a Drow. It's going to be a smooth ramp up. And you mentioned the Void. I mean, Red has not gotten the same treatment top. So, in that sense, 496, this early start, their cores are just not finding that early farm.
No, they're not. They do have a very kind of passive support duo here, though, right? So you can't really expect too many rotations out of Rubik Phoenix. Seems a bit much. Seems a bit more reactionary than proactive. Q went to the Avalanche toss now at the bot lane, but he's going to get lifted back into a Bloodright. Jackie trying to go with the multi-shot onto Yassi, but doesn't quite have the damage output to kill him off. Still, now we're into a tri-lane versus tri-lane situation. So it looks like they are going to try and slow Yassi, or rather not Yassi, but Jackie down a bit.
And we've seen this from both teams here. They're the type that doesn't back down. You see someone up, you run down as well. You never give in. You just play this kind of Dota. If someone TP's down, you TP down as well. And let them know who owns that lane.
True. That is what you sound like.
This mid lane is still going very, very nicely for Hung, by the way, on that OD. He'll probably just go for the straight Aghanims rush that we're used to seeing. In fact, he could go for the Midas build-up if he does want to on the OD, but I think the Aghanims is just much more worthwhile. See what he does choose to do.
And the Ags would enable some aggressive play. I don't think you want to go too passive here. You've got a Void who's going to have to soak some farm up. Even a Bloodseeker is not a very selfless core, so you want to prevent yourself from being stuck in a farming loop and just want to be up and running. So the Ags has to be the play they go for. You do have some level 6s up. You've got the first Chrono yet to be used. You've got the Santies ready from Hung. Just no opportunities yet. A slower game from both teams, except for the posturing. 1-1, less than 1k lead for Motivate. And that is a lot of it, of course, running on Jackie, but you are seeing Masaros actually pull ahead. The Tide is just a lot more efficient in pulling waves and clearing out camps.
Yeah, he's doing a great job of it. With that Morbid mask up, you can't really stop him from doing this anymore. There's no way to harass him out of the lane, as he will just anchor smash and heal up. And, that Vladimir is not going to take very long to be up. Still mid lane, Fearless was Astraled, but does have a Haste Rune active, so he can run away. Hung unable to finish off the kill. Didn't even get close, really. They'll just go back to farming. I mean, there's no real rush for these guys right now. It just requires so much more farm on these cores before you can get anything done.
Yeah, it's a bit of a change of pace for both. Again, we're used to seeing them commit these spells early to find those kills, but looking at the laning matchups, not possible. Red up against Masaros, you know, you drop the Chrono, that's a tie. You can't kill him. And Masaros didn't level Ravage. He has no offensive capability beyond clearing waves. Still, Hung makes his way top. They might play here.
Well, they're going to try with the Chrono out. Hung has the Arcane Orb active and does have Sanities available, but Ravage is committed. Yassi would love to steal that, and I think he can. No, he's not even level 6 yet. Masaros doesn't even bother using anything else. Red will take the kill. I was thinking why Masaros wasn't using Anchor Smash or Gush to try and get that Ravage off, but of course, Yassi, it is still a bit early here for the Rubik.
Yeah,
level 5 now.
You would have wanted it, but no opportunity. Still, that's the first Chrono. They hold on to the Santi, so Hung has that option for further fights. Lots of good stacks here from the supports. And the escalating that farm on the OD, that's the dream. Look at how many creeps he's clearing out, Mike.
Oh. Yeah, that's a lot.
Delicious.
Indeed. Trying to juggle those neutral items now as Masaros and Fearless having a crack at Yassi. They have the RP. Loonbill even joining in just behind them, but they won't commit that RP. They'll rather just hold on to it for a better time. Now you've got to be a little bit concerned about committing those spells, as Yassi does have level 6, but he might just go down. In fact, never mind. Fire Spirit's out from Bombi. That'll slow the attack speed. Now BB going to make a rush after this Vengeful Spirit. Masaros trying to get out, but the Sanities is going to be dropped. And now Fearless, the only man left. In fact, here come the TPs. Q. Avalanche is out on Bombi, but no toss to follow. That might be it for MG.Trust. Have to let this one go. They don't seem to want to leave the lane. So Red, he'll TP down, but the other 4 are going to stick around here. Yassi, Avalanche tossed, will end up going down. They do actually get Bombi as well. Jackie gets 2 with the multi-shot. 496 will have to be the ones to retreat here.
Good punishment for Motivate. A bit questionable, but that dive from Bombi. Right into the multi-shot. They did not manage to use that egg. I think that's what they were looking for in the next fight. No option to use that. Their tier 1 top going to be shoved in. The damage coming out from Jackie, more than likely going to be enough, but they are TPing heroes to defend still.
I mean, Astro in the back lines with a Blood right out. That's going to be Q on the Tiny, but Boombill going to get a nice swap off on the Venge. There's the egg being committed by Bombi. Around the back, they've got to be a bit wary about that stun coming in. Fearless is just out of range. He'll commit the RP onto our Bloodseeker, but that BB will just turn around, clean him up, and go after Q now. That Boombell is sticking around, trying to help. They do actually kill off Bombi, but they'll lose Q, and they might lose Boombell. And they will. That BB able to pick up a double kill for himself. 496 giving it right back to the side of Motivate.Trust.
Costly exchange, 3 for 2. You're happy overall with how that ends up for 496. They hold on to that tier 1 top. No progress or no significant progress made for Motivate.Trust. Their bot tier 1 was already cleared out as well. But mid of 496, of course, did fall earlier. They're just a bit better in map control overall, still for Motivate.Trust. 496 now. They are just buying time out. Red still needs farm on that Faceless Void. He's actually rushing the BKB this time. So going defensively. Just doesn't want to be caught in the Ravage. And that does open up a few more opportunities to Chrono. You can now just focus on catching the Venge or catching the Mag. And that will be enough. You don't need to panic over the Tide. You have the BKB to just keep yourself safe. And that should give, again, more flexibility for 496. Motivated. They are still building up some Jackie. Has the Dragon Lance into the Hurricane Pike next. And it's going to be a bit longer until that's up, but once you have that, you can sort of reposition yourself, get yourself in better spots to in these fights to get the damage out safe.
Down a bot lane, they caught the Mag, and with that Sun Ray, it's not going to take too long. In fact, Bombi does take the kill. They even committed the Rupture just in case he tried to skewer away. Now into Q, that BB going to spawn out the Tiny, but they want that mid-tier 1 tower, I believe. They're going to start to get to work.
Oh yeah, it's going to be straightforward push. They have the Ravage here, though, for Motivate. They can try to defend.
They're going to try, but the Blood Right is going to be out onto Massaros. Okay. Doesn't have any initiation tool here with the Tide. Nothing like a blink up yet. Doesn't catch Yassi either on the Rubik TPing out. And they are not going to be able to commit that Ravage.
That is what you sound like.
Bit of a shame. Would have been a big opportunity. They also had, they had the RP if they wanted to, but 496 they retreat. They're going to be set to reset.
Well,
I'm going to wait for the next Chrono.
Yeah, MG.Trust, they're going to go for a sneaky Roshan play, and 496 have no idea this is happening. They smoked in. 496 do have vision, but again, the smoke does make it so they are not aware. And you really wouldn't expect it this early on, but MG.Trust, with how well Massaros is farmed, can tank it for them, but now they too realize it's happening. Can they make it in time to steal? Not quite. However, toss in onto the Mag. Yassi lifting him backwards, but the skewer is going to be there, and Yassi tosses him back out, but they've already got the kill. A great play from MG.Trust.
Oh, massive payoff as well. Second life now available on Jackie. He's going to be a bit safer if these big spells come flying out. Motivate.Trust. Now with a slight 1k, less than 1k net worth lead. Give themselves some breathing room. 496. Have to be a bit cautious going into that Aegis. They still have the RP. They still have the Ravage. Looks like Motivate.Trust will try to use this momentum to clear some space on the map. Top tier 1 finally taken out. Got the numbers to invade that jungle.
Top lane, Rob shot, can catch out Jackie. He does have the Aegis, however, and he is just going to TP out immediately. They do end up getting an avalanche toss there with Q, and he's going to try to TP out, but Hung is going to be there with the Astral. So they'll have to settle for the tiny kill. It's not quite what they wanted, but it's all they can get.
6-9 now for 496. Big advantage in kill. It's not quite translating into net worth. Motivate.Trust having very disciplined to keep that farm game up. That does mean you're not seeing a runaway start for either side. Still, certain items going to be built up now. BKB is going to be coming out for red on our Faceless Void. Going to be important, we talked about, to ignore the Ravage in these fights, to get the silence off, to ensure his spells fly out. course, you're still looking for the BKB on Hung. He just finished up his 4-staff. So this is going to be key. They need the BKBs to really be confident in these team fights. However, MG.Trust, the blink is going to be up for Fearless soon, and they also smoke up.
Well, that BB gets smoke ganked here. MG.Trust, they'll go for somebody else. Some wards down first, just to catch out any rotations to that tier 1 tower. Seem to know Bombi is in the tree line, but they don't seem to want to initiate on the Phoenix. Icarus dive forward, getting vision on Jackie, and now on the back lines, Q. A nice avalanche toss onto Red. Does go down to the void. Now Yassi in danger, does go down, and the RP from Fearless does also catch that BB. They are running circles around 496 right now.
They are just on point with the initiation. 496 a bit disjointed. They have the Void up front, but they don't have their Phoenix around with the Egg. Your OD is not interested in fighting as well. Hung on a completely different part of the map. And just like that, Motivate.Trust, they jump pretty far ahead. 2k advantage now. Still holding on to the Aegis. Have a good minute or two on that left. And they're just going to start taking over that triangle.
You sound like.
They will. TP's in. Looks like they are going to go for a big smoke up. With that Chrono, with the Sanities, with the Egg. They want to make something happen. It's going to be hard with the RP available on Masaros. Perhaps if they can catch the Tide out in the Chrono, it won't be that difficult. Going to run into Jackie. Yassi, he gets the lift off. Now, Astral is going to be out. There's your Chrono, catching two, but a great swap out from Boombell. They're going to have to settle for the supports now, but Masaros is coming in for a Ravage. He does commit it and will end up taking down Red. Your Aegis has also gone. Jackie just going to respawn up with a gust back onto Yassi, and it looks like this might be the win of Motivate, or maybe not. Jackie does end up dying on the Drow. Now Hung getting very low to Masaros, but Masaros can't finish the job. The Astral will allow him to walk away, and they will surround the Tide Hunter. Or maybe they won't, because Fearless is still there on the mag. And he does have RP. That BB looks like he might just be going down here. Does try to throw out a Blood Right, but he's just going to try and juke them out. How much time can he buy? Blood Right. Hey, he's TPing out of there. Fearless. Oh, commits the RP. There you go, Fearless. Gets a skewer off, and that'll be it. Even Q finding Hung.
Whoa.
That's a much bigger kill.
Yeah, those are solid wins for Motivate.Trust. They had to lose the Aegis for that, but they come out on top, and they're finding more.
Oh, MG.Trust just all over the map. It's really great plays coming out from this Radiant side right now, and oh, Yassi, he's on the run now. Is Q gonna toss in Masaros to set up the gush, get the avalanche off, and that'll be Yassi gone.
Ooh, man. It's getting messy here for 496. Bleeding off a lot of kills they shouldn't be. 4k lead all of a sudden for Motivate.Trust. They're going on to those tier 2s, and we haven't seen the combination with these spells. Like, we haven't seen the combo with the Chrono Egg as often as we'd want. We have seen it with the Sanities, we've seen it with the Blood Right, but the big one is with the Egg. It hasn't come out. They need to bring it out. They need to start playing with that potency, and that's something we talk about. When you've got that Phoenix faces Void, you need to play with that. If you don't, then it kind of defeats the purpose of drafting them together.
It is true. They haven't been able to get these combinations off right. Not for a while, anyway. It's not like the net worth is too far ahead for 496 right now. They can definitely catch up, but with that 5k net worth lead, MG.Trust, they've got to be feeling confident. Of course, Jackie has been having a great time just being able to sit back and relax and just keep firing arrows at whoever is there. MG.Trust, if they can just keep this up, this game one could be in the bag for them. In fact, they might go for another smoke. Boombill has one, and yeah, they're going to pop it. RP up in 10.
Dude, it's going to be difficult for 496. They don't really have the deep wards to spot any of that movement out, so a bit of caution for them. Looks like Motivate.Trust is heading in the right direction.
They are. They'd love to get this OD once again, and Hung is going to reveal himself. Q going to have the avalanche and the toss with the gust connecting, and Jackie should have enough slow so that this OD does not get away. And 496 had absolutely zero answer. In fact, there might be more. Fearless. He's having a look. He can get a skewer back, but he just doesn't have the vision right now. Yassi and Bombi just sitting away. Yassi may have made it obvious, and he does. What a skewer back from Fearless. Yassi, he'll buy it back, but now Q jumping in for an avalanche onto Bombi. He does get clumsy netted, but a nice swap out from Boombill. Rupture out onto the Venge. Q does also die on the Tiny. They are going to cancel the TP of Boombill. He'll throw out a stun and stand his ground, but is going to die to the Blood Rite. And now swap back out from Yassi onto Jackie, but he is going to be able to gust and walk away. And what a ravage. Masteros finding 3 heroes, bursting down the supports of 496. That's just a terrible team fight for this Dire side.
It's a costly defense. Like, they managed to find some form of punishment, but now it's a bit of a stalemate. You don't want to jump in without the egg, without on that chrono, so you're going to have to wait it out. At the same time here for Motivate.Trust, there is no Ravage. They do have the RP, but Fearless, he's been very cautious with when he uses that, and looks like they're just going to go back to the farming game. They have the lead. It's a 7k advantage, 7 to 6k, 496. It's, you know, it's their game to play catch up. They need those BKBs. Hung, still a recipe away from finishing that up. They've had one on red for a while, still on a fresh 10-second charge, but he's lacking damage, so the MKB has to come out as well.
They're holding. Net worth continues to slowly go the way of Motivate. Masteros even now working towards that Heaven's Halberd on the Tidehunter, so it's going to make life even harder for this Void. We're just looking for an answer here from 496. Like, what do they get done? You're a very long time off that MKB. It's not going to happen anytime soon. There's a Heaven's Halberd on Bombi. That'll help out against the Drow.
Yeah, they need to smoke and just use Egg Chrono. They really just need to get a move out. They've been very passive with these teamfight spells. Not exactly what you want to do when you have those big teamfight spells. When you have that Wombo combo, it needs to fly out, and just like that, Motivate.Trust, they're feeling confident enough to take these outposts. There's just no movement yet here from 496. They're hanging around. They might get spotted out, but it's Roach time again.
Yeah, why not? If you can take it quick, you can take it. It is a dangerous predicament, though, if you do get chronoed in that Roshan with that egg out. They should know that all ultimates are available right now on 496. They keep that mid wave pushed out. They'll go for a smoke. 496. See if they can win this team fight. Jackie reveals himself now in mid. Get to the high ground. They are going to get there. Fearless runs up the staircase. Now the smoke wears off, and they are going to get spotted. Roshan, still not happening. Mind you, MG.Trust are on division right now. But so are the side of 496. Now the vision's gone for 496. But a counter smoke.
Yeah, just a lot of posturing here from both sides. not quite finding each other. No dancing around here yet. Still looking for their partners, and looks like they might want to be doing a bait play on the Roche. 496, not biting though. They're gonna sneak it.
They're going to try and sneak the Roshan. Oh, this is actually pretty clever if they can get away with it, but Q seems to be aware. He'll throw the tree in and realize they are taking it. Jackie, scout out. Roshan, about 1/3 HP now, but not quite done. Swap positions and wait. This game of chicken they're playing with each other. No one really being the braver team and trying to go for that Roshan, as you don't want to give up that advantage.
No. He saw Masaros drawing a line though. He wants to focus on the push. They are shoving up that mid. So the mid lane's just going to be shoved into the high ground. 496 has to be aware that if they're going to play chicken like this, they find a tier 1 top. But there's always the looming threat of a push onto their own high ground.
Q's going to take the outpost as well. And, well, Fearless is really hitting that tier 3 tower. He gets the glyph out, but 496, they're trying to rush for a team fight. Yassi, Avalanche Tossed is going to get deleted. Now Hung going after Q. No, Red in with the Chrono, not throwing it out yet. He'll try for Masaros on the Tide Hunter. There goes your Tiny now to Hung. They'll go for the Drow. Nice Chrono out from Red with the X being popped. And they will get the Drow. They'll get Boom Bell as well. Onto Fearless, who does finally get that PKB off in time. But Masaros will eventually commit the Ravage. Fearless is going to come back in. He still had the RP. Oh, and here we go. Fearless, he's gone.
That is what you sound like.
Very interesting team fight. But it's 496 who are going back for the Roshan.
That is really messy for Motivate. Just getting caught out in spots they didn't want. The fight was super split up. You saw the effect of the Egg Chrono finally coming into play. And Roshan, second one of the game. Aegis and Cheese gonna go to 496. They forced some nice buybacks out. Motivate, they've got to be super cautious. Like, the moment you get your Drow caught out like that, it falls apart. Jack is a lot of their damage right now. You have to protect him. Like, they tried with the swaps, it wasn't enough, he was already really low. Have to be patient with that positioning. And 496, they're suddenly all the way back. Big advantage now down to 2k for Motivate.Trust, as 496 does look like they are figuring out what to do with their draft.
Slowly but surely. Making it happen. MG.Trust now, just going to have to go back to the drawing board. They are grouped up again in that mid lane, MG.Trust. Really wanting to protect that tier 1 mid tower. Q, nice toss back onto your OD. Hung, he'll be forced to BKB up, and now swapped out by Boom Bell. Eats the cheese, and well, Red keeps going onto Jackie, but he is getting deleted. He will go down. That'll be your Aegis. Back on to the Void, and Jackie takes out Red. Red was really separated apart from his team. And, oh, Bombi going back for a neutral item, I believe. Will lose his life for it. And he did not get it either.
Oh, no.
Masaros, he got the spider legs.
You're gonna like that freebie. If they give it to you, you take it. And that's just a massive boon for the side of Motivate.Trust. 496. High ground being sieged. No chrono anytime soon. Egg is going to be up, but no buyback in the Phoenix. Going to be a hard one to stave off.
It is. There's your mid-rat's gone. Crimson Guard will delay things, but not for long. MG.Trust, they don't really have an option for the other lanes, as both T2s are still standing. They'll be kind of forced to just make their way down bot and start working towards another tier 2 tower. But you've got to be happy with that. Winning a nice team fight, getting double spider legs, by the way. So,
could you ask for anything more, man?
No, it's just a matter of who wants them. It's like Jackie probably doesn't want them himself. And I wonder who'll take it. You've You've got a pair on queue already on that Tiny. Maybe give one to Masaros. Maybe he'd enjoy it.
Yeah, that'd be nice on him, but it looks like, he wants the durability that the Essence Ring does give. They are smoked up. They've got RP. They've got Ravage ready to go. 496 has to be a bit careful here. You can't really get outside their base. Tier 2 is going to be under siege as well.
The T2's gone. Jackie just hitting from a mile away. No blood right, but it will do nothing. They definitely want to just try and take the high ground defense here. They don't want to fight on the low ground. MG.Trust, they're done with this. They're not willing to push it any further.
Yeah. Just cautious plays. They pulled back, just safely farming up. The Butterfly going to be next for Jackie, I do believe. Going to be up and running soon. Just missing about 1,300, 1,200 gold. It's going to be a big one. There is a clump up here from 496. They're trying to take back control of their jungle.
Fearless, be able to escape. He does have the second pair of spider legs.
It's a dream come true, dude. If you
It
have
really
two
is.
of these movement items, it's just so broken when you have two of them in the team.
Yeah. It's like, how do you catch these two now? As long as they have it available. Jackie, 4-star forward. Needs to back off. Yassi now going to get a lift off, and Red won't commit the chrono. Rather, Boombo will swap out, and now the Ravage. Masaros just jumps in. He is kind of on his own at the moment, as we will see a chrono in the back lines again onto Fearless, but he's swapped out, and now the RP is there with the sanities to be dropped, but it just doesn't matter. That BB, he's going to go down, and so will Red on the Faceless Void. And now Bombi going to be left behind on the Phoenix, probably will just be dead, and so will the OD. Or Bombi. Actually managed to Icarus Dive TP out.
Balanced.
Cassie does go down and hung. Survive on 200 HP.
Yeah, it's still a very big win for Motivate.Trust. They force out all the teamfight spells from 496. They come out on top. That allowed them to siege that tier 2 top. Start tickling the high ground. They don't have a chrono to worry about. They don't have a hammer drop or Santi's Eclipse to worry about. Not even an egg. And there's that butterfly for Jackie. So he hits like an absolute demon. He's melting these towers by himself.
That'll be the final outer tower. Do they want to try for a high ground attempt again? Doesn't look like it. They might just wait for the next Roshan play. So it really doesn't feel... There's really no rush here for MG.Trust. They could force it now, but you've got Ravage on cooldown for another minute. Jackie looks like he wants to do a bit of damage. RP is about 35 seconds away. I suppose without the chrono, they must feel confident enough to take the fight. Jackie, or rather Q, jumping in, but a quick lift up from Yassi. Rupture is out on our Drow. Well, Masaros has blinked in. Ruptured up as well on the Tide, but he doesn't really care about that. He'll just walk away.
Yeah,
Just spilling watermelon juice right now. That's what he's doing.
Not quite the way you'd want to reveal that Ags on the Bloodseeker, but it is what it is. You don't manage to really find anything. You hold onto your high ground for a little bit longer. You're 20 seconds off that chrono. You do have the egg. You just want to play with that combination and stall for as long as possible.
It's going to be a Astral out from our OD. Again, Jackie just doesn't seem to mind. There'll be another Rupture out from that BB into the Blood Right, but he'll be swapped out by Boonbelt.
Oh,
Skewer there from Fearless, not really going to latch onto anything. You are at the point now where you have the chrono and you have the MKB up on Red. If they want to try and take this fight now, looking at Masaros, does have the Ravage. They're going to be committed now with the Chrono in the back lines. Can they get the job done? The BKBs were expended. And Fearless about to drop and does, but Red has lost his life to Jackie, who is hitting way too hard. There's Bombi going down as well in the Phoenix. Jackie with the multi-shot going to be able to clean up Yassi. More buybacks to fly out. They have lost the range racks. Oh, nice silence with a Ravage out from Masaros, and that's going to be hung dead. A Rampage out for our Drow, and it could be even more. Jackie waiting, hung, gonna buy it back in with the Astral. But this is a very dangerous predicament. I'm not sure if they can actually fight back against Jackie, who is just hitting so hard with the multi-shot. A second Rampage out for Jackie. He wants to go for a third one, make it another, and that's GG. They have had enough.
Boy.
Man, this Drow, it's the dream, right, for a Drow. You just sit back and enjoy.
We were talking about the Vent Drow not being up to par. This is why teams pick it up. You know, in the right circumstance, you just absolutely melt face. Motivate.Trust, a dominant win. It was still, there was a fight coming out from 496, 21 kills in their end. It wasn't completely one-sided. It was a very even match for quite a fair bit. But they just couldn't stop it. Motivate.Trust just came out on top. The wombo combo they had was too hard to deal with. 496. It's that issue with the Faceless Void Phoenix. Like, no matter how hard you try, sometimes the Egg Chrono just can't overcome, and it most certainly couldn't overcome in this first game, Mike.
No, they could not still. We are going to our second and last game of the day. And we'll see you all again in 10 minutes. It's MLP Dota and JohnXFire. We'll see you very, very soon.